Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the She.Must.Knit podcast. My name is Erin and thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I hope you guys had a great week. We've had a pretty nice week. We are leading up into the holidays. I cannot believe that next week is the last week of school already. So we've been trying to get things ready this week. Crafting, of course, getting some gift knits done. And then other than that, it's just kind of been regular life. So what do I have to share with you today? I have some projects that I've been working on, one that you've seen, I have a new cast on, and then I have my Advent projects. And guys, there is going to be a change, I think. Last night I was working on my Cozy Memories blanket, and I had put a little bit of work into my Advent Infinity scarf, and something is just not sitting right with me about that project, and I think I'm gonna have to change something. So we will talk about that in a minute. First, I'm going to have some of my coffee. I have toasted marshmallow today, I think. I've really been enjoying that one this week. It seems very seasonal and it is very tasty. So what are we going to start with? I think I'm going to start with the project that you saw me cast on last week, which was Little Miss Charming. And this is a little sweater that I am making for Avery, hopefully for Christmas. I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish it for Christmas. To use up some old stash, and just because I was just itching to cast on another garment for her. And this one is perfect because it is so fast. So the last time I showed it to you, I don't think I had worked, no, I hadn't joined in the round. So I had done the cast on, I had done the shoulder cables, and I had talked about how the construction for this garment is a little bit different than your standard top-down construction. So I had finished the cabling, I had finished all my short rows, and I was working on the front portion. So I have finished the front portion and the back portion. The back portion is just plain. I finished both of those, and then I joined them in the round. And so I've got my arm hole started there, and now I am going, I'm just working in the round. I've finished all the increases. You can see that there's increases worked into the chart pattern here so that it kind of flares and gives it an A-line shape. I'm finished with all the increases, and now I'm just working on a chart repeat until it gets to the length specified in the pattern. I'm going to have to measure Avery because the length might be different for her. I am doing a size 4 for her just because of her chest measurement, but obviously she's taller than, well, there are some 4-year-olds who are probably taller than her, but she's not short and she's not tall. But I just have to measure it on her and just get the length that is suitable for her. So right now I am working straight down, and then it's going to get to a point where I split again because the back is just a little bit longer. There's a split hem and the back's a little longer than the front. I think it looks really, really cute. I'm not quite there yet. I haven't worked on this for about 2 days. I worked on this earlier this week. But I don't think I'm going to have a problem getting this done for Christmas because it works up so fast. I think in one session I got from where I stopped last time I showed it to you. So I added more to the front, I added stuff to the back, I joined, and I got all this done in one session. So it is a really, really quick knit, and all I have to do is probably a couple more inches on the body and then pick up around the sleeve holes. You can see that the little cable stitches, those stitches are on hold, so the cable is going to continue down the arm once that's picked up. So all I have to do is once I pick up the sleeves, I bet you I could get both sleeves done in an afternoon. So I think this will be under the tree for her. We'll see how excited she is about it. She does really like the yarn, and I think the overall design of it will be really, really cute on her. She has a lot of leggings that have like this bright pink color in it, and I think it will just be something really fun and cozy to throw on. And yeah, it's just easy to wear. I can see her getting a lot of wear out of that. So I am happy with my progress on that. And then the second thing I cast on, I think 2 days ago maybe. Like I said earlier, next week is the last week of school. So I have 1 week. If I'm going to be doing any gift knitting for her teachers or bus drivers, I have until basically next Thursday or Friday to get that done. Priority-wise, I really would like to knit something for her teachers. So that's what I cast on first. And I started some mittens. And I think I mentioned wanting to do mittens before, and I decided I did. So I have one mitten done, and this is some yarn. I have no idea what this yarn is. I'm trying not to buy yarn, and yarns for gifts are not in my stash challenge, so if I don't have something in my stash that will work for a gift that I want to make, I need to figure something else out. So I didn't have anything in my upstairs stash, and so I went down into the deep basement stash, and that stuff, a lot of that stuff is many moons old, and I found in the bottom of one of my bins some chenille yarn. I have 2 blankets on our couch made with chenille, and I must have gone through a phase at one point because it is really soft and really warm. So I had 3 balls of this in one of my deep dark basement stash bins, and I thought, oh, this will be nice. It's a nice gray color. It's nice and soft. Chenille tends to be really nice and warm. I think these will maybe make some really nice mitts for Avery's teacher. So I cast them on, and I didn't use a pattern. I basically went off some of the numbers, or I started to try and go off the numbers from the Cinder Smoke mittens that I just finished for my mother-in-law. But this yarn is deceivingly thick. Like, it didn't look any thicker than the yarn I used for those mittens. But when I cast on with the number from that pattern, the cuff was like out to here. It was huge. So I had to rip that out, and I would decrease the stitches. I did it again, and it was still too big. So this is the 3rd attempt, but I think this is a good size where it's roomy but not like too big. So this is actually only 20 stitches around. And then I think, yeah, so I just did 20 stitches cast on. I did ribbing. I did that for a certain section. The chenille makes it hard to see any pattern, so I didn't do any pattern with these. Ribbing up to there, I did a couple of rows of just plain stocking net. I put some markers in, and then I started increasing for the thumb gusset until it got to a point when I tried it on that was comfortable. Took those thumb stitches off, joined back in the round, worked up until there's a little bit more room above my hand there, and then did some decreases, and then the thumb, I just, you know, picked up the stitches and whatever. So it's kind of a standard mitt. I just made sure that it's a little roomy. Like, you can see there's a little bit of excess room at the top there. Same with the thumb, because I do plan on doing the same thing that I did with the Cinder Smoke mittens, which is getting some black fleece and lining these with black fleece, because that is going to make these even more snuggly and warm. So I have the first mitten done. It is all, like, ends are woven in, everything. This is completely done. I've just left some markers in so that I know when I did things. So, like, this is when I started the increases for the thumb gusset. This is when I did something else. Maybe not. Maybe this is just my mark. I could probably take this one off. This one is when I started doing the decreases for the top. So yeah, that's just so that when I make the second mitten, I have some visual placement to go by. But yeah, for the second mitt, I cast this on last night, and I now have the cuff done, and I have the stocking that portion done right before the thumb gusset increases start. So my next row, I am now ready to put my markers in and start doing the thumb gusset increases. So I could probably get this done in an afternoon. I think I might actually get a fair bit of knitting done this weekend. It's going to be very low key. I don't think we have a lot of plans. So I think that I can get easily, I should be able to get the second mitten done. And then I need to plan a trip to my fabric store because I have a bunch of projects that need fabric. Those Santa pillows are ready to get finished. I just need some backing fabrics, and then I need the fleece for these mittens. I need some other fabrics for just various projects, so we need to go to the fabric store. And if you've been watching my Vlogmas, maybe I'll take you along with me. We'll see. So yeah, that's the other project that I cast on this week for a gift. I was thinking of doing, I have some yarn from my stash that I might be able to squeeze out some just little fingerless driving mitts kind of for the bus drivers, but those are not going to be a priority. If I can't get to those, I'm not stressing myself out because every year I go to a local bakery and get some shortbread cookies that are absolutely delicious, and I tend to give those to the bus drivers as well. So if that's what they get, and then maybe I'll have Avery make a little craft or something, that's fine. But if I have time and if I can do some fingerless mitts, I might do that. But talking about gifts, in the Bling Your String group on Ravelry, I have my annual gift bonanza going on where you can just enter any kind of gift that you make for people around the holidays. So it can be any craft, knitting, crochet, paper crafting, clay, ornaments, whatever. As long as it's a gift for someone else, you can enter each project as an entry. So like if you were to bake a batch of cookies, that is one project. If you were to do cards, someone did a whole hoop ton of soap, that would be an entry. So yeah, if you're making gifts for anybody over the holidays, check out the thread in the group and you can enter your gift projects for a prize at the end of the year. So that's all the projects I've been working on that are not Advent related. And so now let's talk about my Advent projects. I've been opening up my minis from my Advent calendars every day, and I have so been enjoying putting them in my projects. And the one I had talked about before was my mini Skein Infinity Scarf by Julianne Cole. And I had said before that she was from the My Muddlings podcast, and she recently did a name change. So her podcast is now Lovebird Lane, because that is the name of her hand dye company. So I have been working on the Infinity Scarf pattern, and I have been enjoying it. It has nothing to do with the pattern. I really enjoy the project, but I don't feel like it's giving me what I want out of an Advent project. I've made quite a bit of progress on that. So this is day 1 here. I have added all these days. I think I'm mostly caught up. I might only have 1 or 2 minis after this. But these are all the minis that I've been getting from my friend Jen's calendar. And recently the calendar that I was waiting for from my friend Moira arrived, so I've been opening up those minis. And then also the calendar from the swap that I did in the Relatively Crafty group, it's arrived. So now instead of having 1 mini a day, I have 3 minis a day. And I think I'm feeling like I want to be able to put a little bit of work in various projects. And with 3 minis a day, like adding in one of these sections with 1 full mini basically takes up most of my evening knitting time. So once Avery goes to bed, I have maybe 2 hours, 2.5, depending on how late I want to stay up. I have 2 to 3 hours of knitting that I have after she goes to bed, because the afternoons are usually I need for other things. And it can take that whole time just to put in this 1 stripe. And then yesterday, I was working on my Cozy Memories blanket. I had taken a break from it because I had gotten all my DVD minis put in, and so I had taken a break so that I could catch up on my scarf. And then this week I went back to it. Yesterday I put in 3 squares, and I really love this project. In an afternoon, like in the same amount of time that it takes me to put, say, a stripe in my Infinity scarf, I can get several squares in my Cozy Memories blanket. So it just feels like a much more satisfying project, and I can also use different yarns and things. So I think when I showed it to you last week, I was still working on getting my DVD yarns across the last row, and I have now done that. So this is October, November. December is now in, even though I haven't finished my December socks. They are barely started. However, I'm still not worried because I have until the end of December, and I know Christmas Day I'm going to have time to knit on them. I know that week there's going to be a fair bit of knitting time because Dennis is home and we just kind of chill out. So I'm not worried yet. But yeah, I have not made a lot of progress on those socks. And then I've gone up to the next row, and this is now where I'm starting to put in the leftovers from projects that I've finished this past year. So this was some socks that I made for Dennis. These 2 were from kind of a frog project. I started off making a shawl for myself, and we all know what happens when I make myself shawls. And I ended up taking it off the needles, and what was on the needles, I think I talked about this in one of my very early episodes. What I had on the needles, I just cast off and gave Avery to use for her dolls. And so this is the 2 yarns that I used in that. And then also I made my stripes and stranded socks with that yarn. So this is kind of a double whammy. There's like 2 projects that I got out of these yarns. So these 2 are in there. And then I am now working on this one here. There's a bit of sparkle in there. I made my brother's girlfriend some socks with this yarn very early in the year. So I'm working across now with project yarns from projects that I've actually worked on. I should be able to finish this row and then maybe get another row in before the end of the year. That would be really nice. But I really enjoy putting these squares in, and I feel like I would rather be doing that than working on my Infinity scarf. However, I don't want to put the minis from my Advent into my blanket, because this blanket is eventually going to go to Avery when she leaves the house, and I want those minis to stay with me. I'm going to be a little greedy. I want them. So then I was thinking, last year, one of the other projects I was working on Advent last year was the Granny Stripes blanket. Do you remember when everybody was working on the Granny Stripes blanket? I think a lot of people still are, but I started that, and I remember really enjoying that too. So I had a look at it. I haven't touched it in months and months and months and months. And this is where I've left off, and I think I did the same thing that I did with the Cozy Memories blanket, is that at the end of last year, I put in a black row, so you can see that there, to kind of mark off where I stopped, and then I kept going. So I've only put in 2 rows since December of last year. And I feel like because crochet goes by really, really quickly, that I'd like to be putting some of my minis that I've been getting from my friends into this as well, because this blanket is going to stay with me. Like, this is going to be my blanket. But I don't have time to put in a square on my Cozy Memories blanket every day, and then also stripes on my blanket, then also the infinity scarf. So what I'm thinking of doing, and this is going to be a little bit painful, is I think I'm going to rip out all the progress that I made on my infinity scarf. I wove in the ends too, because I tend to do that. That can bite me in the butt sometimes, like now, but I think I'm going to rip it out because I want to restart the project. So I don't want to abandon the infinity scarf completely, but I want to restart it and use less of the yarn. So I would like the stripes, like the areas of the colors, to be smaller. I just don't want such big areas of each mini. And then also, I think now that I have all the minis from all my swaps, I would like to keep each day together. So like from my 3 calendars, or well, the one was only 12 day, but so like Jen and Moira's, I'd like to keep like day 1 together and day 2 together now that I have them all. And I'm thinking of also making it narrower so that each day takes up less time. And then maybe what I would do is do 2 narrow strips and then sew them together so that I still end up with the width of that one, but the sections are much smaller. So I think what I want to do is, with each mini that I open every day, is to put a row into my granny stripe blanket and then put the rest into the infinity scarf. And that way there'll be less yarn and each little section will be much smaller, and there'll be a faster transition from color to color. And I think that's what I want. Like, I want the infinity scarf. I really like the idea of an infinity scarf. Like, I want it to be more patchwork. And to me, the way it's looking right now is not as patchworky as I would like it to be. So I think if I make it narrower and maybe do 2 strips that I attach, and then if each section is smaller and there's more colors, it's just going to be looking a little bit more like a patchwork item. And then also, when I was working on my Cozy Memories blanket yesterday, I realized that I really like the fabric of that. I like the fabric of this knitting much better. I like how it's a little more dense. I like the stitches that are a little more close together. I like how the garter stitch looks better with the smaller needles. I think I'm using 3mm with that, and with my infinity scarf, I think I went with the pattern recommendation, which is 375. So they're bigger, and the fabric is much looser and airier. Like, you can kind of see me through it there. It's looser and it's more airy, and it's not the fabric. I'm not enjoying the fabric as much, and I think I would enjoy it more if it was just a little more dense. So yes, I feel like I still want to do this project. I still like the idea of the infinity scarf, but I want it to be something that I love, and so I need to make some changes to do that. So if I have time later, that's what I might be doing. I might be ripping that out and pulling out all those little ends, and then I will probably put it aside for a day or 2 and then get back to it. And then I can start adding things to my granny stripe, because my granny stripe has been sorely neglected, and I would like it to grow as well. So that is all the knitting I have for you today. I don't have a collection this week because I'm doing every 2 weeks, so next week there will be a collection. And so I just have a little bit of question time, and this one is very, very simple. We are still kind of in the holiday, well, at least I'm still in the holiday mindset, so I've been thinking a lot about just the holidays and different aspects of it, and I think I mentioned last time when we talked about holidays, just traditions, and we're still kind of sorting out our traditions, and I loved hearing those of you who posted about your traditions that you really love. I loved reading those comments. And so along the same lines, I would like to know one of two things. You can either answer both of these, or you can answer one or the other. It doesn't matter to me. One of them is in terms of recipes. So I think I mentioned how I'm still kind of forming our Christmas meal and our Christmas Eve meal, and I've made some dietary changes lately, so I'm trying to figure out how I can incorporate what I wanted to do for our meals, and then also like change things to be suitable for me, and then also in terms of baking and stuff. And so my first question is, what is your favorite holiday recipe? So you don't have to actually like link to or post the recipe if you want to. If you want to share that, you can go to the group and I'll have the thread for this episode. You are more than welcome to. But just like, what do you look forward to? What kind of food items do you absolutely look forward to around the holiday time? And then my other question is a little more selfish, because one of the things I want to do today is sit down and make Dennis kind of a little gift guide. He asks me to do this. I will admit, sometimes he does need a little help. So he's asked if I could just make a little guide for him, just some suggestions. And so for this past week, I've been trying to think, what could I put on it? I don't really need a lot. I don't want to put things on the list just to put things on the list. Like, what would I maybe look for to go out and get on my own, that instead, if he would like to get me a gift, he can get me. So I would love to know what is on your Christmas wish list this year. Is there anything that you are really, really hoping for? Is there anything, that you're just excited for Christmas? Avery, anybody who's been watching Vlogmas, can you tell me what Avery's asked for Christmas? It's very obvious. She's so easy to shop for that it's almost hard to keep things reined in. But I have found some really nice craft items this year. I'm excited for the activities that we're going to do over the holidays. And then, she'll probably get one or two things that she's asked for. But so those are the two questions. What is on your Christmas wish list? And then also, what is your favorite holiday recipes that you are really looking forward to? I would love to know. We might do some baking. I'm not a big baker, but I think next week we might do some baking. I would like to know, because maybe you guys will post something that inspires me, and I will have to look into it and try it as well. So that is everything for this week. I hope all your holiday preparations are going really well and your crafting is not stressing you out. Still have a week and a half. You can do it. But that's it for now. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. I hope you get lots of crafting time, and I will talk to you soon.